After I finished editing this video, I realized I didn't really mention it at all, so here's just a quick disclaimer. I 100% know about Pokemon Switch in 2019 and how that game is more for the hardcore Pokemon fan, but nevertheless, I still felt like it was important to address my grievances regarding Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. Anyway, let's get started. Charmander. You do realize that Pokemon Let's Go is Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee. Those are the starters. Meaning that you aren't the main character. Welcome everyone, this is Andres Restart. So, my very first Pokemon game was Pokemon Silver, and then eventually I got Pokemon Gold, and then Pokemon Yellow. I played Red and Blue, and then I've played pretty much every single Pokemon generation ever since. I did that. Not pretty much, I did. I've played every single Pokemon game, and I love Pokemon. I've played a lot of the spin-offs, I've played the card game, I bought way too many cards over the years. It's really bad. You should be really careful about playing the TCG game. It can become kind of an addiction with those booster packs, but never mind. I've been a pretty big time Pokemon fan. I've gone into the competitive scene. I've been into the competitive scene for almost 9 years at this point. I've gone to many local tournaments, regionals, nationals, worlds. When I was in college, I was the vice president and eventually the president for the Pokemon Club. We had all sorts of crazy events, and it was a great time. But the point being is that I'm a big time Pokemon fan. So for a lot of people who know me, they probably would think it's a no-brainer that I would definitely be a day one buyer for Pokemon Let's Go. And while I probably will be, I am sort of reserving some of my expectations. I'm not necessarily as excited as I would be any other Pokemon game that comes out every year. And the reason being is because the battle system looks to be quite stripped down, and that's concerning to me because I am into the competitive scene. I'm someone who appreciates a challenge. I like battle systems that are easy to play but difficult to master, and I feel like the battle system for Pokemon has been that way. It's gotten progressively more sophisticated over the years, but it's still been relatively easy for people to get into. So I kind of think it's a little perplexing that with Pokemon Let's Go, well, since the series is already kind of easy to get into and already pretty mainstream, they're making it even more mainstream and even easier to play. And that does not excite me. I am someone who loves challenge. Like, the whole Dark Souls series is like right up my alley. It's amazing that I've only played one Dark Souls game up to this point. Like, it's the perfect kind of game for me. I love really brutally challenging games. That's what I'm all about. So, you know, Pokemon Let's Go is like the exact opposite, and it doesn't look like it's going to be competitive at all. And the reason I started thinking about this recently is because of the Mega Evolutions. They revealed Mega Evolutions, and at first, that actually really excited me, because I was like, oh wait, they're actually for sure adding in content that's new. It's not just a straight rehash of Pokemon Yellow with 3D HD visuals. It's more than that. And really, that should not have come as a surprise because pretty much every single Pokemon remake has had additional new content. But when I took a closer look at the footage for the Mega Evolutions, I realized something that's a little concerning. And I know some of you who've been following this information probably already know that it's essentially, it's not 100% confirmed yet, so this may turn out to not be true, but it does not look like there are any abilities in Pokemon Let's Go, and it does not look like there are any held items. And that sucks. Like, that adds a lot to the battle system, and they're taking out both, it seems. Like, for example, Charizard is my favorite Pokemon, by far. I love Charizard. And Charizard Y is my favorite Mega Evolution. So when I saw Charizard Y, I did a backflip in my heart. I was super excited for it. However, I noticed that the sun didn't come out when Mega Charizard evolved. And that sucks, because Charizard's special ability is Drought. It brings out the sun, and what's so important about the sun for Charizard Y is that it gives it access to a turn 1 Solar Beam. It's a super powerful grass attack, which helps it fight against rock and water types, which are the types that kill Charizard. And on top of that, the sun makes its fire attacks extremely strong. So if you take out the actual Drought ability for Charizard, guess what? Charizard Y kinda sucks. It's not really that good of a Mega anymore. And the same sort of applies for Mega Kangaskhan. When I saw Mega Kangaskhan, I didn't see her use her parental bond technique. Yeah, sure, I saw the baby out there, like visually it was represented, but the actual ability didn't seem to be in the game, and that sucks because Mega Kangaskhan's big whole point is to have two fighting together. You get two attacks in one, and you can even use that to get double stat boosts. So if you take away that, guess what? Mega Kangaskhan sucks. Like that, pretty much. Like it's just gonna suck. And so, you know, these Mega Evolutions, a lot of them are going to be entirely gimped. So they're not really as cool as they could have been, because all of the abilities for Mega Evolutions make them way more powerful. So you take that away, they're just not nearly as interesting. So that's concerning to me, guys. And from that perspective, it's very concerning to me, because Pokemon Let's Go could leave a lot to be desired if you're sort of a hardcore Pokemon fan that's really into the battle system. But I want to say something, you know, like when I played Pokemon Stadium 1 and 2, when I played Pokemon Red and Blue, Pokemon Yellow, Generation 2 Pokemon games where all of those mechanics weren't necessarily as intense, I had a lot of fun with them. I still feel like there's a lot of strategy to be had with those battle systems. So by taking out abilities and by taking out items, we're kind of going back to the generational 1 and 2 battle styles to an extent. And there's still some strategy to be had there for sure, so I won't know for sure until I play the game, so it could still be a good time. I mean, like I said, Generations 1 and 2 didn't have abilities, and it was still a good time. And, you know, at the same time, right, like, while I've been sort of, I guess, basically shitting on the competitive sort of mechanics for Pokemon Let's Go, because there aren't any, it looks beautiful. The animations look beautiful, the facial expressions, the way the Pokemon roam the world, the way everything seems to be so organic and natural and dynamic. The game just looks beautiful. It looks like a beautiful realization of Kanto, and that looks like a pure joy to explore. And as a longtime Pokemon fan, someone who cares about the history and lore for Pokemon, someone who has nostalgia for Generations 1 and 2, when I see that, that excites me, and this could be a beautiful game to sort of walk through, and in that way, it could be really, really good. But like I said, you know, I don't want to just walk through a beautiful scene. I want a little bit more than that, and that's why I have I'm not necessarily 100% in on Pokemon Let's Go. And you know, that's just for me though. That's the kind of Pokemon fan I am. I care about the history of Pokemon. I'm a fan of the story and the lore for Pokemon and the theories and such, but I also love the battle system. So, you know, it's kind of like Pokemon Let's Go only kind of has like half of that. So I'm not 100% sold on the game so far, but I know there's some casual Pokemon fans that this is kind of perfect for them, because they don't necessarily care for the sophisticated battle system. They just love collecting the creatures, having simplistic battles, and enjoying the environment. And if they have a nostalgia feeling from the previous games, from Generations 1, then they may really love Pokemon Let's Go. But for those who really are into the mechanics of Pokemon, this is a stripped down version of that, and they may not like it very much. So what am I trying to say? Well, I'm trying to say that I'm not sure how I feel about Pokemon Let's Go, and I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys sold on this game, or are you not sold on this game? Do Mega Evolutions make it worth it for you, or is it still not quite enough? And you know, to sort of bring up one more point, you know, when Pokemon Silver, Soul Silver and Heart Gold came out, those are amazing. Those are my favorite remakes, and they actually came out with the little Pokewalker, and I thought that was so cool. But here's the thing, that Pokewalker didn't come at any additional cost from what I remember. But the Pokeball Plus that's coming out with Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I think it's adding like an additional $40 to the price tag. That is really expensive. That's almost doubling the price of the game, and that just does not feel worth it for me at all. Even though the technology may be really cool, I'm not sure that's worth it for me. It doesn't seem as fair, and when you compare it to the Pokewalker with Soul Silver and Heart Gold, that seemed like a much better deal for its time compared to what we're getting for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. So that's kind of like, I guess you could say, another con for Pokemon Let's Go compared to previous Pokemon games. It seems like a cash grab, and that doesn't appeal to me necessarily. If I have the money, maybe I will get it, but you know, it's kind of expensive, so it kind of makes me have another doubt about Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. And I just want to stress that I'm not trying to shit on this game, because I think it looks really cool, right? I think what they're doing is really special. Like I said, I think in terms of an experience, in terms of that nostalgia trip and sort of exploring Kanto, it looks like they're doing a really good job of it. But at the same time, the simplification of the mechanics might not be something I'm interested in. But again, guys, I want to know what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that this is the case? Do you guys think that this is something that is fair, that's something that appeals to you? I'm curious, so let me know in the comments below. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching. If you're still here up to this point, thanks for actually paying attention, right? And I guess if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. If you really enjoy the content I produce and you want to check me out on different social media platforms, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, we have a Discord community. And if you want to actually offer even more support to the channel aside from subscribing, watching, and liking the videos, check out our Patreon, right? As when our Patrons grow, I will be offering even more additional content for you guys. So check that out. Anyways, everyone, thank you so much for listening and watching again, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.